Hey, what's up guys, Nate here from Protoculture. Welcome back to another Sonic Academy video. So sticking with the lo-fi theme from last week's video, we're going to be taking a look at a brand new plugin from one of my favorite developers. This is from Unfiltered Audio. It's called Lo-Fi AF. I'll let you figure out what AF stands for. It's an all-inclusive suite of lo-fi tools. We're going to dive in and check this out. Let's take a look. Right, so to kick things off, I've just got a little loop loaded up here. I'm using some of the presets from the brand new Lo-Fi pack for Anna 2. You can go check that out now at Sonic Academy. We've got a little pad sound, a bass line, some vocals from the Sonic Academy Vocal Essentials, and then a drum loop. And we're just routing that all through to a group that we can use Lo-Fi AF on. So there we go. Let's take a look at the plugin. I'm going to very briefly run through the elements inside of this, and then we're going to take a look at a few usage cases, because there really are some interesting ways that you can utilize this without getting too extreme and without doing the obvious like sonic destruction that it is obviously capable of as well. So let's take a look at the layout of the plugin quickly. You've got all the usual settings, preset management, and a randomization button at the top. You've basically got this broken down into 4 elements: the spectral section, the digital section, analog and convolution, inputs, outputs. AGC stands for automatic gain compensation or control, mix, and the global strength, which is a handy little feature. This does not actually adjust the mix as this one does. This will essentially morph the parameters from their 0 settings to whatever you set them up as. So let's take a listen to the different elements quickly. We'll just start off with the convolution section. So you've got automatic gain compensation on this and a number of IR responses that you can run through. They're quite nice to actually mix in with the original signal as well, just to give you a little bit of extra flavor or filtering to your sound. Then we've got the spectral section. So the spectral section has some pitch shifting effects. It's kind of lo-fi algorithms that it uses though. And you can do some pretty interesting stuff with that on sort of solo instruments as well. We'll come back to those in a sec. This MP3 section kind of mimics the data loss and the filtering that occurs from low quality digital recordings. So let's dial that in as well. Can be used as like a low pass filter there as well. And then let's move on to the next section. We've got the digital section, which is going to be a bit crusher, sample rate. You've got various different algorithms here. So you've got the bit rate for the bit crush. I'm just going to turn on the AGC as well here, just to make sure we don't go over, because some of these can be quite harsh. The AGC on full music sections like this can pump quite a bit because of the difference in volume between the kick and the actual sounds. So let's just take a listen. So some pretty harsh digital distortion. I quite like this crisper model. It gives it a nice sort of just like hiss above some of the stuff. And then we've also got the digital skipping as well. It's kind of like a CD that skips. It's the same sort of effect that you're going to get. You have a skip chance, which will, it's a probability basically of when it will skip. And then you have the time, which can be synced as well. You can disable the time, just have milliseconds. Obviously, we dial this up to 100. You can do some sort of interesting stuff with looping and chopping up sort of buffer effects. Lastly, I want to take a look at the analog section. Right up here, we've got some controls that sort of mimic tape. The flux will introduce some warping. You can hear the pitch occurring up and down there. Also, adjusting this live will give you some pretty wacky sort of pitch shifting effects. This is essentially a compressor. It'll give you some sort of upward compression or that sort of effect. You can take a listen to this as sort of like a bus compression. Particularly, yeah, that in the sort of softer parts of that loop where the kick is getting dropped down and it's really bringing up the sustain levels, which is quite nice, that kind of crushed lo-fi sound. We've got interference. This is different to the tape hiss that we have down here. This one is sort of interacts with the actual sound itself, and you can adjust the frequencies. So we'll take a listen to that. Got a couple of different ones here. Check out the demodulate, which is almost like a ring mod effect. And down at the bottom here, we've got some additional noise features. There's a tape hiss and some interesting tools that we're going to come to in just a sec with regards to how the noise is applied. The follow, transport, and envelope follow. You also have a number of different noise types on hand here. Vinyl right up to a cell phone interference. Ground loops and different colors noise. White noise and such. Lastly, down at the bottom, we've got a filter as well, which will filter the whole mix of this plugin. Now, I want to get into some usage cases here because there's a couple of interesting things that you can do. I'm going to kind of run through these pretty quickly and just show you sort of the scope of what you can do with this plugin. We're going to solo some of the instruments here and just play around with some slightly more subtle effects in this case. The first thing I want to do is look at the vocals. Let's just initialize this preset quickly, reset the defaults. And I'm going to play around with the analog section here. I'm going to process these vocals a little bit. So you can do some interesting chorus and slapback delays using the flux dial here. Let's take a listen.
Do you ever think of me?
So for the slapback delay, we're going to dial the flux far up. So there's quite a lot of shift happening. And what we're going to do then is mix in the original signal. Take a listen to what happens.
Do you ever think of me? Do you ever think of me?
So you get quite a nice slapback delay from that. If we reduce the flux, we can actually get some nice chorusing going on as well.
Do you ever think of me? Do you ever think of me?
Another nice thing to do here is to actually blend in some of the convolution to kind of add a little bit of additional character to the vocals. And we're going to go with the mics. We can take a look at some of these. We'll leave the AGC turned on.
Do you ever think of me?
Let's bring our mix back up.
Do you ever think of me? Do you ever think of me? Do you ever think of me?
We'll go with that crispy one, and we're just going to blend that in to just give that character to the vocal mix.
Do you ever think of me? Do you ever think of me?
And let's blend that back in again.
Do you ever think of me?
And there you go, some nice delay, chorus effects, a little bit of filtering going on there. Nice for processing your vocals. Right, now we're going to take a look at the bass parts, and I want to look at the tape hiss section here. And we're going to add in some noise to this bass part. Let's dial the noise up, and you can hear it's constantly playing. You could try out the different kinds of noise as well. But a really handy feature here is we can actually change this setting here to either follow the transport. You'll hear now it only turns on when the track is playing. What we can also do is set this to envelope follow. So what this is going to do is it only outputs the noise according to the amplitude of the signal that you're putting in. So we'll dial that in slowly. Let's have our bass play back. And we're going to add a sort of like dusty layer to this bass now. also bring in some compression on the bass. We can take a listen to that on the kick as well. Let's turn on the AGC again and check out what that does. Can use that to generate sort of a little bit of airiness on top of other percussion as well. We should actually run the drums through this. Let's take a listen to what the noise does when we run the envelope following on our drum loop. The original. So you can hear that white noise. We're generating a rhythm with that now that's brightening up the entire drum loop, which is a really cool little effect to use with this as well. Let's play around with the MP3. It can do some cool stuff with drums. So we can filter out elements of the drum loop using the MP3, and that can be fed into our digital section as well. And then once again, we could actually blend in this on top of that to create a completely new sound out of that, like a more percussive but completely different tones from that drum loop. Let's go back to our envelope follower again. And of course, this can be mixed back in again. And let's take a look. We've been mixing this in and out as well. Take a listen to what the global strength does. This is pretty handy because you can kind of morph between sort of extreme versions of presets and then toning them down, but without actually blending in the original signal. We can take the global strength down here. It's really nice for sort of automating as well in a track. Of course, there is a number of presets on offer here as well, ranging from sort of subtle lo-fi effects right through to complete sonic destruction. We'll take a listen to a few of them. These are sort of some of the milder ones. Take a look at this one. Let's take a look at a few of these sort of broken ones. And here's some pretty extreme ones. Right, there we have it, guys. That is Lo-Fi AF from Unfiltered Audio. Great plugin. Really love this one. Very cool for adding lo-fi vibes or even some subtle processing as we've looked at here. Speaking of lo-fi vibes, if you're looking for some cool lo-fi sounds for Anna 2, go check out the brand new lo-fi pack available now from Sonic Academy. Otherwise, I shall see you soon right here on the channel. Till then, take care. See you then.
Thanks everyone for watching. We really appreciate all the support from you guys. If you love this video, then smash a like, and if you want to be notified about new videos, hit the subscribe and notification buttons. Peace!